Hello and welcome to today's stream. We're going to be continuing our journey on to the new decks, and experimenting to see what are the best decks for this current format. Obviously, the meta can change at any point in time, as you can tell by Hero Druid getting quite big. The other thing as well to think about is that there more than likely will be some nerfs coming in the next couple of weeks as well which will shake up the meta some more. I don't particularly know what would get changed too well. Like I think some starships may end up getting changed. The pieces for the Terran class. The Infester may end up getting changed for Death Knight. Yeah, but I think those are probably some main suspects that are a little bit overstated, overtuned. Besides from that, there isn't too much that I could possibly think of that's going to get changed. Going into this game here, I am playing Trample Hunter just to give it a go. I haven't played it since for about 2 months now, but Trample Hunter seems like it's in a relatively decent spot going into this metagame. I'm going to full keep this hand just because with the bird watchings it helps me search out Niall. It can also help me search out the Warsong Grunt as well if I need it. And the tracking obviously is good for turn 1. Okay, so first card's Alien Encounters, which is quite good to be starting with because obviously with all these discovers it's going to be useful for me. I'm using tracking at the moment, so I'm going to grab the... I could grab the reserve spot to get me started. I think I will because I've got the 2 bird watchings in my hand, and Niall's pretty much a certain card to be able to get out with the bird watching. I'm going to use my bird watching here as well. Grab the Niall. And then next turn I can play the Niall down to apply a little bit of pressure towards the opponent. Or I can play down my Alien Encounters. It just depends on what sort of board they end up getting. It's probably is just going to be playing down the Niall though. Brood Fight's going to be quite useful for a future turn for me, but I'll just play the Niall down now. Next turn I can use the bird watching, Ranger Gully and things like that if I need to. Obviously tracking will be quite useful too to be able to grab out the Warsong Grunt. And I'll be able to get the Alien Encounters online next turn if I want to as well, so I can use the tracking and I can use bird watching and then Alien Encounters for 1. The order probably will be bird watching first because I can get out one of the minions from my deck in that situation. I don't particularly know if they're going to have too strong a play to go into this because of the fact that they do have their 1 drop, but that I don't think is going to be able to trade into it unless they use some of the... Oh, they're using Frostbolt and trading. That's fine. That's definitely is a win for me in that situation. I got a Char. So first is going to be bird watching. I grab the Warsong Grunt, obviously. Then I'm going to use the tracking here. And I'm going to grab reserve spot. And then I'm going to play down the Alien Encounters. Next turn's more than likely going to be playing down reserve spot to buff up the Warsong Grunt. Because I want to be able to get the buff obviously onto it. I could use Char, but it's not going to be very efficient using it for my mana. Yeah, so it's going to be... I'll use the tracking first actually, so then I can get some value from it. And grab the... I could grab this so it sets me up for future turns, so I will grab that and I'll use the reserve spot. And then I'm just going to go face with these 2. Because I don't want to deal with any damage to this because then I can get my buff going into the Warsong Grunt. And the more and more minions they play down, obviously, the easier it is for me to get lethal with this. And I'm just wanting them to be able to, get to the point that I can do it. So I did draw into the Catch of the Day, unfortunately, so that does mean that my Char isn't always going to hit. So I'll just play down the Catch of the Day now, just to get it out of my hand and get it ready. and then I'm just gonna put it into the 2/1. I'll play down my reserve spot to get the extra buff onto the Titanforge Grunt, and then I'm just going to hit my hero power, and I'll grab the Cup of Muscle because I'll be able to use this next turn, and then just use the Cup of Muscle. It gives me the buff onto the Warsong Grunt. And I'm just going to trade very unfavorably here, but it means that next turn I can just use the Warsong Grunt to win the game. Because yeah, next turn I can just use Warsong Grunt to just clear, like there's no real way they can deal with it. Unless they get quite a bunch of cards with their... Oh, okay. Well, they cleared their own stuff, so I guess that's fine.
Well played.
Okay, well, I got punished for it, but they definitely got some good cards with Supernova. How'd they get that out so cheap? Oh, they used the Skylar. Well, if I don't think it would have really changed too much even if I didn't trade poorly into that. Actually, it probably would have changed a little bit because I would have had less damage going on the board, so it was a little mistake. Like, I did get pretty greedy. I honestly didn't think they'd have a way to take me out. Okay, playing against a Shaman. So this is one of the favorable matchups for Trample Hunter. Since I don't have any of the buffs, I'm just gonna full mulligan this hand. I might keep the barrel. I'll get rid of the barrel as well. I've got a decent start, so like if I need to, I can trade into anything quite easily with Punch Card. I'll play down the Sneaky Snakes just to can get ready and onto the board. I'm gonna have to use some of these Catch of the Days as well to get them out of my hand. But I can use my 1/1s to be able to trade well into them. The Ranger Gully is not a great draw. I'll play down the Catch of the Days just to get them out of the way. And I'll just trade into all the stuff. And it leaves me with a 2 sets of 3/3s on the board, ready for them. I'm gonna have to send this out really quickly, to be honest. Just use hero power and trade into the missile pod. Next turn's gonna be coin into Ranger Gully, more than likely. I've gotten 2 Banshees, so that does make it pretty strong. I'm just gonna leave these alive because I can take full advantage of that. Possibly. Since my hand's pretty poor, it does mean that I can't take as good advantage of it right now. So I'll just coin into Ranger Gully. I will just take out one just because I don't want them to be drawing too many cards. If they do, it could get to a problem, especially since I don't have currently any access to my Warsong Grunt. Okay, Titanforge Trap, so I'll do the buff for it and just get it sent out. Go for the Ice Trap to reduce down their speed. And I guess it's gonna be bait and switch. and then I'll play down the sneaky snakes just to get it out of my hand, and just go face to get rid of a little bit of the armor. I don't mind them having that at the moment because I'll be able to use the when I eventually get it, I'll be able to use the Warsong Grunt to trade into that really easily. I'm very fine with them having this board, but I do need to get one of my dudes out of the deck. Okay, so this is always just trade here. I'm gonna keep the 1/1s just in the board because it means that 5 damage could go into one of my 1/1s. And I'm just playing down these Island Crocolists just to get them out of my hand and just go face with my hero power. It is a little bit of an unfortunate hand, but that is what happens sometimes with these sorts of combo decks. I do have quite a lot of searching cards, so I am getting a little bit unlucky, but yeah, as I mentioned before, like it is very possible with these sorts of decks. Okay, so they use their Thrall's Gift. I'm assuming they're going to use a different spell now. Yeah, because they want to just get the buff out of their hand. They got another one of these good ones. It's a little bit unfortunate. Okay. Parallax Cannon doesn't really help me too much at the moment. I am just thinking of getting the food fight out just so I can get something out of my deck, but it doesn't really do too much. Like, I can use it as a way to just have something on their board and just sitting there. I haven't discovered anything, but I can use that as an immune. I don't think I want to, though. I think I just go all face. But it is getting to a pretty difficult situation. Like, it is turn 7 and I haven't done anything for my buffs. Okay, so Missile Pod means that they can clear those quite easily. They get that, and then they're going to use the buff more than likely, so I think that it's probably going to be game, to be honest. Especially if they launch that. They surely do launch it now. They're just doing the wrong thing if they don't launch it. Yeah, I can't do anything with this board that's here. They'll have lethal with the Thrall's Gift that's already in their hand. Sometimes drawing like a potato means that you obviously lose. But to be fair, I also lost the game before this by misplaying against them and, assuming that I'd have enough damage to be able to deal with them. So, I guess it does turn itself around in terms of losing both games for 2 different reasons. Okay, so playing against a warrior, they'll more than likely be using the starships, so I'm just going to keep Niall. Niall's always an auto keep just so you can control all the cards that you're drawing. The tracking and alien encounters are also quite strong here as well. Okay, so always play the track. Oh, I can just do sneaky snakes first, just because it means that I apply some pressure onto the board for them. Tracking I can do next turn anyway, and it can also determine what I'm going to use. Like, it potentially is better to use tracking, but having a little bit of pressure on the board's okay as well. I'll just use the tracking now. It potentially may waste a mana doing it this way, and by the looks of it, it is. For these, I might just grab the Titan Forge traps, just because it means that if I do the buff for it, it helps reduce the cost of my alien encounters. Next turn's always going to be Niall. I don't really mind that being there. problem is that if they do get into the Ziliax turn, it can become a little bit problematic for me, so I do need to hope that they don't get the Ziliax. Tracking always first. Get the Master's Call, because it means that it puts the likelihood of getting the Warsong Grunt. And then I'm just gonna chill. Like, there's no point trading into this because I want it to be as long as possible before they get the extra buff and the extra draw card out of their thing. Out of their pool. They got the worst one. Especially for this matchup. In general, it's the worst one, to be honest. I'll use the tracking here to see what I end up getting. Grab the bird watching. I don't think I'll be using it this game, though, but it just gets it out of the pool. And I didn't particularly want any of the other cards there. I can use another tracking here as well. Grab the Cup of Muscle because I'm about to just have it so the Warsong Grunts in my hand. So play down the Catch of the Day. It gets the 2-1 onto the board, and I just trade into the 3-3. And then I can use my Alien Encounters now for free. And I can use 2 Cup of Muscles onto my Warsong Grunt. And just go face with this damage because it doesn't... Having these minions on the board doesn't really concern me at all. Next turn's probably going to be tracking first, and then I can use the Cup of Muscle as well. It doesn't particularly matter too much, but it more than likely will just be a tracking first. Brawl doesn't really matter to me. So it just keeps one dude alive. I do want them to, if they do activate their starship, they are in it for a bit of trouble. Catch of the Day is a really bad draw at the moment. I think I just grabbed the Char, so I'm just ready for the next turns. Because I obviously want to get the buff onto the Warsong Grunt. I'll play down the Sneaky Snakes. So they're ready, and I could probably just, I could use this to get the buff on going onto them, but if it goes on Catch of the Day, it's obviously not preferred. It is a 50-50 chance. I'll just do it anyway, because if I do hit the high roll, it obviously is good for me. Yeah. And it means that if I get a trample next turn, I'll be able to more than likely lethal them down. Okay, so it's always just discovering here. Grab the Jolgamore so it's set up for the future turn. And I think I'm probably just going to be dealing some face damage to them. And just chilling. There's no... I'll attack with the 1-1 as well, because there's not really anything that they're doing right now. Like, even if they do summon... if they summon Ziliax, it's a little bit of a problem for me. I just need to make this guy really buff to be able to deal with it. Not having the reserve spot does make this a little bit weaker. Yeah, that's lethal. Because it goes 15, 11, 11, and then this is lethal. If I needed to, anyway. In terms of correct order and that, you always go for the lowest health one, so I should have traded into the low health one there, but it didn't particularly matter. Because they didn't have very much damage or anything like they could deal. So the card that you want to look for mostly in this matchup is the Get the Niall out, because it helps set you up for, obviously, all your different turns. It's going to be mulliganing all this, and I'll just keep the bird watching. Because I want to have the most likelihood of getting my Niall out of my deck. Okay, just play the sneaky snakes down first. I don't really have any other play that I want to do at the moment. Turn... It's probably just going to be playing Niall down on turn 2. I do have a tracking. Maybe I'll do the bird watching first. Grab the Warsong Grunt, then turn 3 I can use that. I don't really want them to get the buff earlier, so I'm just going to leave it alive. Just in case they do use a hero power play. Which is what they did. Okay, so this turn I'll just play down the Niall. And I'll use my coin to be able to use my hero power with it as well. And I'm looking for a reserve spot. Or obviously this as well. Just so I can start getting it active. And then I trade into the little line because now it's just, the correct spot to be doing it for. They use their Blossom, so that means that they do get a little bit of extra card advantage, but I'm not too worried about it, since I do have a decent setup here. I'm going to need to, this turn, make sure that I'm getting out of taunt so they can't just yield more face damage to me. They're just trading into the little dude, so that's fine. Reserve spot's always good. I think I use it now because if I leave it, it potentially may not hit the buff that I need it to, and I'll just use the hero power here, and I'm probably just going to trade in. None of these are really needed. I'll just grab this just in case I need a little bit extra damage. Okay, so they're getting their dude online. They got 15 armor. I'm not too concerned about that. I just need to get some taunts in the way of them, I'd say. Food fight's decent because they won't be they can use it and put Divine Shield on it, but I will be able to deal with it if I use the punch card or something. So always tap the hero power here. Grab the tracking. I'll get my monkeys out. It's probably the safer sort of play just to make sure that they can't really deal much damage to me this turn. Because with the Divine Shield, it does make it a little bit tricky. I'm going to need to thread it a little bit, my damage. With the, just got Bob. How did you get it? I've got a full hand at the moment, so I'll just use the tracking that's here. Don't really need any of those. Play down the parallax cannon. It's not really a very good position at the moment because I currently don't have access to my alien encounters. So I'll use a tracking here. I'm looking for alien encounters so I can survive. Use another tracking. And I'll grab out the... So Catch of the Day means that I have the extra rush. And it gives the 2-1 onto the board. I think it's going to be Cup of Muscle here because I can always use bird watching if I need to get the other Catch of the Day. And then just play down the alien encounters. There's no point using my... Like, I can get rid of the Divine Shield here, but I don't think it's going to really be relevant at all. I was just playing and it popped up, wanted to share this great news. That's fantastic to hear. Because, Bob's obviously used quite a lot. Okay, so they're using Twin Blades, which I'm fine with them doing. Because it means that it gets the 1/1s onto the board. Don't particularly know why they did that. So it gets them up to 4 attack. If they have a Chrono boost, do they have lethal? I don't think so. Your beasts have rush. So they still don't have lethal doing that, so I don't really know what they're doing. Because this is +5. Okay, so this is currently... I need this to go up to about 15. So put that on. Put that on. Play down the Warsong Grunt. Play down this. Still not lethal. If they have a charge, they win. But I'll just hit into face and then see what ends up happening. Cactus Construct's fine. Of course they get this best one. Oh, they had lethal anyway. What deck are you going to play Bob in first? I think we might switch decks. We'll switch to Zerg Hunter. Okay, so that seems like a tough matchup. Yeah, it is a bit, because once they get a little bit of armor, like, the only thing that I could really say that could have gone better for me, I could have had alien encounters, but I think that when they get that sort of amount of armor, it is going to make it really tricky. The Divine Shield, obviously, is something that you need to play around as well. Because if they get the Divine Shield onto their minions, onto their hero, it means that one of your tramples doesn't go face, so you need to have a weapon in that situation, which then obviously makes it a bit more difficult. I could have potentially played the food fight down, but then they still could have put Divine Shield onto that, and then attacked with it. So either way, like, it's not particularly great. I'm just going to keep these two. Spawning pool is always a keep. Nidus Worm's just decent in general. Okay, so play down the spawning pool and tap the spawning pool. And just pass. Next turn's probably just going to be bird watching. Yeah, the Divine Shield definitely is a bit rough for it, but, you know. It's the choice of matchup that I went into. So they're playing Sneaky Snake, so they may be potentially playing the Trample Hunter as well. Birdwatch, I could either do Zergling or Birdwatching. I think it's Birdwatching, so I make best use of my mana. And I still don't know what type of deck this is, so I'm just going to grab the Mixologist, because it's more than likely it's better into these, into the matchups than the other ones, because I can get the AoE if it's the aggro version, so I can clear this. This turn's probably just playing down the Niall. Yeah, it gets me set up, and ready to go. And then if I can use the tracking and such to be able to get out these dudes if I need to. Okay, so they got their Nials. I'm not really too worried about that. They're going to use a tracking. So it is still possible that they're playing Trample Hunter. They're just doing a trade, so I guess it's so then they can trade using those. Using the Niall. I'll use my tracking. Grab another tracking, because obviously it's quite useful to be able to get it. I played against some dumb OTK Druid. It summoned 4 treants. Use... Oh yeah, I know that one. It's very gimmicky. Okay, best one here probably is the spawning pool. Seaside Giant's decent as well, I guess. I think it's still spawning pool. Get it out of the deck. And I can't kill those. Like, I can kill that at the moment if I want to, but I don't think it's really appropriate. So I'll just go for the alien encounters here and just go face. Because they won't be able to trade into this. And it means I can still have access to my spawning pool so I don't lose the buff on it. So if they end up using a freezing trap, I think I always just use this to attack first. I don't particularly want to trade into them. Yeah, I switched decks, so I switched to Zerg Hunter. Okay, so I think it's just trade with... We'll trade with the Taunt first. Explosive Trap was pretty obvious. I don't really want them to have bait and switch, so I don't really want to trade into this, because if I do, it means I'll have to trade both my minions. So just go face with this one. I'll use my hero power just to check what I can get. I can get the Parrot Sanctuary, which can set me up for the Zergling play. I can also then get Giants as well if I want to doing that. That's probably going to be the best way. Like, I just trade here. Even if it is bait and switch, I can still use these to be able to clear it really easily. So, tap the spawning pool. Tap the Parrot Sanctuary. Use Zergling. Tap the Parrot Sanctuary again. Get another Zergling. Tap it again. Get the Hydralisk. And then get out the Seaside Giant. This is probably one of the situations that you do want to have the Evolution Chamber in your deck, but even if they get something like Titan Forge Traps, I'm not too concerned. They're playing Trample Hunter. This is a bit of a problem against Trample Hunter. So how much have I got on board? 8, 11, 15. Nidus Swarm is lethal if I get the Hydralisk. Yeah. But I think that I only had 3 cards left in my deck that were Zergs. My deck tracker isn't working at the moment for some reason, so don't really know what the deal is with that. Yeah, Zerg Hunter's pretty good. It's one of the more popular decks of the expansion, especially for Hunter. Getting the locations in the Parrot Sanctuary is probably your best combo. Being able to then get the Seaside Giant. Okay, I always get rid of Carrigan. No, I haven't played Carrier Druid yet. Get rid of the Parrot Sanctuary and get rid of the Scout, I think. I could keep the Scout. I will keep the Scout just so I have a turn 1 play. Just play it down. I don't really need value in this matchup, and I'm assuming they're playing Weapon Rogue. They more than likely are, because they got the extra card. Just tap here and go face. I can use the Glacial Shard into them in a future turn. Is the Zerg Hunter better than Zerg DK? So, I'm not sure. Like, Zerg DK, if you get the Infestor, obviously is a lot stronger. But in general, the deck probably is... Yeah, it's... If you verse them into each other, Zerg Hunter is worse than Zerg DK. But if you don't get Infestor with DK, it's a really, really bad deck. Okay. So, I can go bird watching here. I need to apply more tempo than what they're doing. So at the moment they've got a 6 damage weapon. Bird watching into Grifter, I guess. And I can freeze that so they're not dealing the 6 damage, but it doesn't really get me anywhere else. So I will still probably do that just because it helps protect me for a little bit longer. And then I can play down my Zerglings just to be a little bit safe for it too. It then sets up the Hydralisk turns next turn if I need to. It might actually be a Grifter turn, to be honest. Because they are posing quite a lot of damage still. If I get Grifter the heal card, it's like essentially a win. I'll do the Grifter. Deal 6 damage is probably the best of these. Because I'm going to need to race them now. This is 1 left to get it into the pool, so I just deal the 6 damage to face, and then I just trade here. And I'll grab the other Zerglings out of the pool and just go face. It actually was a mistake there, I shouldn't have used that, but they in general don't run any of the dudes. They in general don't run any other dudes or other minions. They're playing their quick pick, so they're getting their weapon debuffed. I can use the Tide Pool this turn, and I can use Titanforge Trap, so I can get an entire board set up ready for them. So I'll go Titanforge Traps. I'm looking for something like Ice Trap and Bait and Switch. Ice Trap, obviously. And Bait and Switch is decent too. Lay down the Tide Pool so I can get the 6 damage. And then play down my Alien Encounters and just go phase. So if they clear, it is a bit of a problem for me, but oh, that's not preferred. Like if they trade into it, it means they're gonna have to two trade for it. The Deafen's not great. Is that just lethal? Yeah. It's nearly lethal. How much damage have I got? I've got 2, 3, 5. Play down the Zergling. I might have lethal here, so I can play down the other Hydralisk. And then I play down this Hydralisk, and then I just go face with this, and then I go face with these. Yep. GG. Just gonna restart my client. I don't know why my Hearthstone deck tracker isn't working. Okay, where is it?
Win, lose, or draw, we're gonna have a wild ride.
Task. It froze just before, so it wasn't working. Okay, let's go for the Zerg again. It is a it is a pretty decent deck being able to do it. Do you know if the Infinite Warrior is decent to play if you have? So Infinite Warriors, the Shaman deck's a lot better than the Warrior, so if you are planning on doing an Infinite deck, you may as well just go for the Shaman one. For Warrior, it's not really anywhere as strong as it. So it's always get rid of this. Seaside Giant's interesting, but I don't have any other locations. If I had Spawning Pool, I probably would have kept the Seaside Giant. So it's probably gonna be turn 2. That's fair. So yeah, Infinite Warrior. I don't think it has that strong a matchup into the Hero Power Druid either, so I don't think it's a great play at the moment. We can try it out later, but I think it's a bit weaker than all the other of the main archetypes. So just use the Spawning Pool here, and then next turn I use the Worm. I think Infinite Shaman's I think it's gonna get. I think Triangulate may get changed, or if it's not Triangulate, it will be the Fizzle, the Snapshot. Because I could see Triangulate change into something like just choose a random spell and get 3 copies of it. So they're gonna have the Backstage Bouncer turn next turn. I don't particularly want to deal with that. So if I go tap this, play the Zergling, play down the Hydralisk. The correct order in that would be play down the Zergling, play down the Hydralisk and see what happens first. Okay. So tap the spawning pool, trade the Hydralisk into it. Because they more than likely had the backstage bouncer that turn. Especially with the Turbolus being in their hand, if they had the backstage bouncer, I would be in a bit of trouble. Next turn's probably just going to be the Worm and maybe the Glacial Shard. Depends on what they end up playing down. It looks like they're not playing the Infinite deck. They're playing the like a different variant. I can deal a lot of damage right now if I want to. The Nidus Worm I think only gets a single spawning pool, so it's probably not even worthwhile clicking that. Yeah, that's not worthwhile. So I think it's just play down the Zergling and use the Hydralisk. It establishes some more damage on the board for them. Glacial Shard, is it going to be useful at any point in this game? I don't think so. Like, it's probably better just getting the extra damage applied to the board, because I don't think they'll run any way of AoEing since they're using that variant. But then again, it looks like I've just got punished. Yep, I did get punished. That's fine. Okay, play down the Mixologist. I'll just grab the 2 damage to all minions. And the draw a card, I guess, because I'm starting to run out of cards in my hand. And I'm just going to tap the Discover. The big idea is to be able to go aggressive. You want to use the your big idea is to try and get Seaside Giants out really early. And to, go quite hard into them. And once they get the lower health totals, it does make it a lot easier for you too. But it is, I don't know if it's 100% the best of the decks. Like, it's good, but I still haven't found the exact perfect way to play it. Like, you can climb quite easily with it when you get lucky. But yeah. What decks count Infinite Shaman? So Trample Hunt is quite good against Infinite Shaman. Besides from that, not too much. I think I just play down the Incendius here. It gets it into the pool, but also it's applying some threatening damage towards them. They don't have any real way to gain armor at the moment either.
Ready to plunder.
Yeah, like the Infinite Shaman, if you outspeed it as well, you'd go okay. But Hero Power Druid, I don't find can beat it. Like if you get, also maybe getting horrendously bad starships does it too. Like at the moment, their starships are being quite poor. If you don't get the damaged starships, it usually doesn't turn out too well for you. I think it's just always playing Karrigan down here. I could use tracking if I want to. But I think just getting the Karrigan down onto the board's probably just better. Because it clears everything except those two. But then I still get the two spawns and I can set up my Ravage to start dealing some damage. I've also got the AoE here, so I can use that. Yeah, the 2-2 Starship is so bad. It's definitely the worst one of these by a significant margin. They surely trade this. Look, they've got another one of it. Feels bad. Okay, they're just going face, I think, with that. That seems reasonable. So I'm probably just going to keep this just so I can kill the 2-1s when they come out. These are bad. Use the tracking first. Seaside Giant doesn't have I currently don't have access to Seaside Giant. It's either going to be alien encounters or tracking. I think it's just tracking because I am trying to look for like my bird watching and things. I'll use the tracking. Eruption's decent here. Yeah, I'll use the eruption. If I play this down, I don't have any way of dealing lethal at the moment. So maybe I play down the Titanforge traps, and if they get a rush out of this, I can just use the freezing trap onto it. And I'll grab the bait and switch as well, so I can get my guy buffed. Play this down and just hit the hero power and go phase. It means that they're sitting on a pretty low health total, and their dudes inside this is pretty weak. Okay, so they're using this, and then they're going to use the battle cruiser as well. Which is fine. I can probably just freeze it. If I get Grifter, is that lethal? Grifter and steal the dude? Not anymore. Okay, so it's always going to be playing this down so I can get rid of their stuff. Oh, Niall's late. I can play the Ceaseless Expanse that clears it, but that doesn't really do anything different for me. So play the Tide Pool, I'll get a tracking out with it. And use the tracking. Birdwatching might be the best of these. Because with the birdwatching it sets me up for the Grifter. And then if I play the Alien Encounters down, they could get the ETC back, which is the only issue from that. So if I go Alien Encounters, see what the Ravage lands on, and then freeze the ETC, it means that this will get freezing trapped. If they go for that, but another one. Oh, feels bad. Because they could play Ceaseless here. Yeah, I guess so. But this one is so much worse. I think that it needs to change to a 3-3 and the other ones need to get tuned down to make it a bit more correct. Because the starship that gives the 3 buffs is too strong. Okay, so they're essentially gunning for a big turn next turn. If I get the take control of an enemy minion, it's 1-off lethal with this setup. So it's always play this down first. It's always take control. I do these, and then I can just use Ceaseless Expanse, and then I can use the Ravage for a guaranteed on them. Yeah, the bonus effect one is too strong though, because you get it with the poisonous, and then you AOE them, and it's just stupid. The random effects is definitely the issue that comes from it. How many cards are you missing from it? Because if you're missing a few, I wouldn't suggest it just yet, because it still is only a week into the expansion. Okay, I've got the Parrot Sanctuary, I've got the Seaside Giant. Do I go for the spicy turns? Yeah, let's go for it. What do you think of the 3 strongest decks at the moment? It feels like rock paper scissors meta like more so than before. So I think that Infinite Shaman's the best of the decks. Then it's a bit more of a toss-up of the other ones. Infinite Shaman's clearly the best. You could make an argument for Hero Power Druid, because it is getting a lot of work and refinement on it. Then yeah, the other ones are more rock paper scissors, but I definitely say that Infinite Shaman is the best of the decks. Okay, so I've got this. I can play this down for tempo if I want to. I don't think that's really worthwhile, because it allows me for a future turn to be able to use it with the Hydralisk. Okay, so Nidus Worm first. Kerrigan, Hydralisk. I think I just wait 1 extra turn, because I can't use this buff anyway. And this is only the armor one. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait an extra turn. Next turn I can do the Seaside Giant play. Okay. Tap this. Play the Zergling. I did that wrong. Tap this. Play the Zergling. Tap this. Play Seaside Giant. Play Hydralisk. Trade into there. Go face with this. Your turn. Oh, they've got the missile thing. I think the lock-on needs to get a nerf, because that's pretty crazy, that thing. I'm going to use infinite traps here and just get it active, so it means that my alien encounters are cheaper. And I might set up for a future turn with the bait and switch. and it's one of these two. Ice Trap's probably the better one of them, just in case they have another Liftoff or something like that. Actually, they've used both Liftoffs. I'll grab the Ice Trap.
Job's done.
Feels like the Zerg Warlock with the wheel could fare against the Infinite Shaman and is decent overall. Yeah, it's more so than just the power level. Like, it can win, but then against other decks it doesn't win as well against them. I think it's always just play down to Karrigan here. And then play the Seaside Giant. Hopefully they don't have another lock-on for me. So if they hit with this and then use that, it doesn't... If only that was Freezing Trap. At least they can't clear it. Oh no, they clear it with this. Okay, so they're launching their starship. I think I just freeze it and play down the Incendious. I don't know if I think that they probably got this game, to be honest. The double lock-on is too powerful for me. Okay. They probably got Jim Raynor in that hand as well. We'll go for the Mixologist and see what I end up getting from it. I think it's just deal 3 damage. And deal 2 damage. Because I'm gonna have to try and get rid of that. So it's deal 2 damage and the deal 3 damage. And I can play down Spawning Pool. Tap it. And hopefully this hits enough times. It's not very likely though. Yep. I'm just gonna have to trade the Incendious here. I can't afford for it to have the Wind Fury onto me.
Let's make it count.
Yep, let's just concede. We're not getting anywhere. But yeah, this yeah, it definitely it's not, it's broken against cards that have a lot of health. So like against an aggro deck, it's not very useful. But the other cards that are involved with the starships are very useful against aggro decks. Like being able to get a token down, for example, is going to be really strong. Being able to get a low cost spell, a low cost AoE is going to be broken. Getting the defense crystal with the lower cost is going to be broken. Like it just has a lot of things that are really strong with it that makes it that sort of power. We're playing its Trample Hunter. So I think it's just go ham against them and hope for the best. Just freeze one to get it ready. I'll tap the Parrot Sanctuary again too. And just chill. Next turn I can do the Hydralisk play. I can also, if I get a Giant, I can also get a Giant out. Tap it, play down the Zergling. Tap it, play the Zergling. Use the Hydralisk. Clears both, nice. They're hoping for an explosive trap. Let's just see it instantly get chosen. Insta-click. That's an explosive trap. Do we just deal more damage? I think so. Here we go, show me the explosive trap. Oh, what a... Oh, that's a bargain bin. What a surprise. I'm gonna go coin to get the bird watching. Damn. I was hoping for a seaside giant then, because I would be able to instantly play it down. Jeez.
These could belong to a brand new species.
Alien encounters? Have I done enough discovers yet?
Find me.
The seaside giant would have essentially been lethal. Because it would have been at 10 health. I could have hero powered and then killed doing that, and I could have used Titanforge traps to be able to get an explosive trap. Maybe they're getting their own Hydralisk now. Evolution Chamber. Still doesn't trade into this. But that might. I think they've got me. So this is dealing 15, it deals 10. 10 through that. If I do this, I go for Freezing Trap. Gets rid of 1. Bait and Switch means that it goes buff as well. Yeah. So, if they use the... If they use that one... Yeah, they've got lethal. They worked it out. Not that it was very hard to work out. They should have put a Ranger Gully into their hand. Because, Ranger Gully goes completely against that deck strategy, which just makes it ridiculous. Like, I don't know why deck. Obviously, it's because of the tourist, but it's definitely...
Rexa versus the Lich King.
All will serve me in death. Let the hunt begin.
Okay, think we're gonna have to go spicy because it's against Death Knight. Rip. Very big rip. Okay, I got punished.
I grant you permission to speak.
Very badly punished. Okay, hit the Parrot Sanctuary and pass. Next turn I Mixologist. Is it okay now? I did walk away from it for a second. Use a Mixologist. Hopefully it's something decent. Deal 3. Freeze a random enemy. Like, that's always going to be good in that situation. Use hero power as well. I mean, use the Parrot Sanctuary as well. Okay, I finally get a card. Tracking? I think it's bird watching here. Yeah, grab the bird watching. They've definitely got the play. Use the bird watching. Get another giant. Smiley face. And I'll grab this, and it can get me a tracking. Then tap it. Sounds clear as the game. This game looks lost. That's a good simile. I'm just gonna go face. Hey, it's not looking that bad. If I end up getting another location, I can play these down. If this gets me a if this gets me a Parrot Sanctuary or a spawning pool, it can get these guys, get one of these guys down. And it looks like they haven't got their Infestor yet. So it's okay at the moment. Like it's not terrible. I'll use my tracking here. Incendious. So we can set up a little bit to be able to deal with their board, and then I just play a giant down, and I'm just gonna trade into this one as it gets rid of one of the Zerglings. Yeah, just play the giants down, hope for the best. That's the best strategy. Next time I can get Incendious and Alien Encounters down. Can't stop playing Protoss Mage. It does great damage versus control. Yeah, it definitely does. Oh, they did get the Infest. Oh, jeez. Here's the Death Growl. Oh, no. Oh, no. I hope that wasn't through the Brood Queen. Okay, I think you're right. This plan's gonna go by the wayside. Yeah, be quiet. We can all high roll here. So, they don't have Rush anymore. I could play Alien Encounters and Seaside Giant, but I think it's probably just safer doing Incendious. Because it means that I can do more clears if I need to. The Viper would be a little bit scary if they had this hand. Because if they Viper, they can pretty much... I'm pretty sure they can just clear. Especially if it's Ceaseless that it hits. Okay. What are they doing? Are they just trying to get Karrigan or something? Surely it's Viper here. Yeah. Five, 6, 11s, 18, 28, 37. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. So I can go Karrigan here and then just trade into this. They don't have lethal, I don't think, with that, but it's pretty close. That's definitely true. Yeah, Viper is... But, once again, Viper isn't that strong if Infestor wasn't so powerful. That's game there. Because if Infestor wasn't so powerful, like... That's a turn 7 board by having a lot of cheap stuff. They're able to clear as well. Like, if Infestor isn't so powerful, then they're not able to get the big AoE clear using their Banelings and things. Let's do some hero power. But yeah, it definitely is a better Dirty Rat. Yeah, Zerg DK is pretty strong, but it falls to the same sort of thing as what Shafar does, because of the fact that if you don't draw the card, the Infestor, you just lose. I think I just mulligan that. This is really slow if I go for this strategy though. So maybe I just full mulligan. Okay, turn 1.
Nature speaks through my tunes.
The definite weakness of Zerg DK is it doesn't have any real taunt. That's the reason why the Reborn strategy at least gives you some lifesteal. Play down Groovy Cat, turn 3 is going to be Whelp. At least more than likely. I don't really care about that being there. I'm not going to trade into that. Actually, maybe I do trade into that because then they can trade into this otherwise. Next turn's probably going to be Take to the Skies, I'd say. It might be Cheer Drake. I can draw some more spells like that. Warner Winter, Zergling, Death Growl. Ugh. Yep. Truly balanced. Okay, so if I take all of these off the board, it means that they can't Viper me. So maybe it's trade into here. That goes to a 5-4. Play down the Desert. Play down Swipe. It clears those out of the way, then I play down the Whelp to get the buff onto here. Because it means that with that sort of play, they don't have any rush at the moment. Okay. I can use Take to the Skies here, or I could use the Cheer Drake. I think it's probably just going to be Cheer Drake to be able to get some more spells out of my deck. I don't want them to have Yodeler, so I think I just have to trade into the Infestor. If they have Yodeler, it essentially would just lose the game in that situation. I'm happy with them having that. I'll use Chrono Boost. I get another Pylon, so I'm just going to trade here. It gets rid of the AoE clear, and then I can go another Pylons and get the Chrono Boost. Gets me out my Artanis for next turn. I'm not running Leroy in this deck though, which makes this a little bit painful. So at the moment they're posing 26 damage on board. So I think I go construct Pylons, then get the Artanis out. It's dealing +3. So if I get the buff onto one of these dudes, I'm dealing 15. Can you spread the word to get me some more cards? So next turn I can have lethal. Can they lethal me this turn? It's possible if they have the Kerrigan, is it? No, I don't think so. I don't think they have lethal this turn. If they use Viper, they can take out my... If they use Viper, they can stop lethal next turn. In the 50-50. Okay. So I can just go for the take to the skies here. Use the whelp, it reduces the cost of this. Play this down. Put the buff onto it. And I can just go 2 times into here. And then it sets up for the same play next turn. Okay, they're using Zerglings to trade. They still don't have lethal with this hand, with this board state though. It's fine. Wait, is it? Are you real? Come on. Yeah, it's not that bad a situation. Let's go with Infinite Shaman. I need to win some of these points. I've lost a lot of ranks playing against these their high rolls of them. Okay, Warriors are a very good matchup for this deck. Get rid of the lock-on and the pop-up book. I'll keep the Fairy Tale Forest because they, obviously with the Warrior, it's going to be quite a slow deck anyway. So it's probably going to be turn 2, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 maybe. Get the Gold Banner online, there's no harm in having it out. Also sets me up for future turns if I need to. Okay, so they can do a trade now into the 1-2 for next turn. But I can just use Missile Pods, which is going to be the play. I want to defend this 1-2 so I can get an extra draw out of it. Turn 3 is going to be lifted off. Okay, so they haven't really done anything, have they? They just got rid of my dude. I've got the combo now. Just need the Jim Raynor. So just going face with that. So their star pieces, they just have the 1-star piece at the moment that's gaining armor. So it's not too much of a concern for me. This one's relatively strong, so if they end up getting another star piece down, I want to get that into the pool last. Just get the starport online just so I can get the extra buff coming from it, or the extra minion coming from it. That's really good. And I'm just going to get the pop-up book out of my hand, because I won't need it this game. Jeez. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Feels bad. Okay, so I think I just trade my 2-1s just to get them out of here. Play down the Fairy Tale Forest and get a card. Next turn I'm probably just going to play down the Shutter Block. Go face with this. I can play the SCV for free, or I could do that, but the problem is if I do one of those things, I end up board locking potentially. I can launch the Starship next turn if I want to. No, I don't really want to get board locked because I want to be able to proc this. Okay, so they've got the Defense Crystal. What is this? The Warriors win plan. It would probably be Hydration Station in this situation, but once again, it's a terrible matchup for them. So hit the Starship. I got another good one. This is the sort of thing, like, you have no control over the starships you get, but, like, their starships are rubbish, my starships are the best ones you can get. It's not even fair. So this turn I might just play down the Shatter Block, it gets it online, and then next turn I can play down Incendious if I need to. I'm just gonna chill because I want them to be able to take out my frogs. They're obviously bulking up my list, bulking up my board a little bit. They're going for the Brawl on a shield block. I can go for the Incendious this next turn if I want to. Or do I get it so I have the Defense Crystal in the pool? That might be better. To prepare for my Jim Raynor. ETC might get a Mind Control tech. I think this always is, this is always going to be really strong if I play that down. The problem is then I won't have access to it in the later game, but since I've got a lot of buffs in here, I more than likely don't really mind since I can just do the Jim Raynor combo over and over. So I think it probably is just playing the Incendious down here. Use the lock on into the 3-4 to get it out of my hand. But it also means that I can trade the 1-3 into this guy. Lay down the SCV. I'll get rid of the 2-1 as well. And just chill for another turn. I'm not really in any position to have to worry about them. You can Zilliax all you like. Oh, they got that one. Okay, play down my defense crystals. And I think I'm just chilling, because that's, this can be used to trade into that if I need to. I'm also trying to reduce down my hand so it's ready for the Jim Raynor. The only effect that I don't have in here that's could potentially be a problem is that I don't have a Raven in there.
Let's make it count.
Okay. Alright, so this is currently going to deal 5 damage, then a 2 damage, then a 1 damage. This can get me... I think it's very likely for a Jim Raynor. 50-50. So if I play down this first, it means that I can get this played for free. And get the lock on as well. So I can lock on here. If I do the AoE first, I think that might be correct. No, it'll be use this. Use this. Okay, so there's still Ziliax alive. So then I guess it's just the AoE. It clears that as well. And then chill. That might be a Bombas in their hand. Bombos. Okay, so they're getting their infinite combo ready. I can do mine as well. I just need to decide what cards I want to keep. I think I always get this out of my hand and get this out of my hand and get this out of my hand. And this. And I can use Fizzle. Yep, this is probably the best of them. Fizzle. Triangulate. Oh, what? Oh, jeez, I forgot. Oh no. I can't infinite. I forgot there's still the pop-up book in my deck. Oh dear. I guess it's this. Then go face. They can obviously tell that I don't have the combo now. I guess the win condition in this game is your opponent playing badly and misplaying. I can still deal, what is it, 39 damage using these. 239s is 78. Cecil's is fine. This deals 2 as well, so I can get that active if I need to. I still should have enough damage here. Okay, so play the Ceaseless. The problem is now, since I've lost that extra thing, I don't really want to use it this turn. So I might have to, but if I don't, it means that I potentially have to wait another extra turn. So it might actually be just get it online now, and then do another one next turn. So yeah, let's get ourselves started with it. But yeah, so Shadow Block, Raynor. And maybe they might quit if they think that this is going to just win me the game. And then use the proc here. Because if they don't have another Ceaseless in their hand, I can deal with them quite easily. If they do, it does become a little bit more of a problem. Problem is this snapshot, I've only got the one more snapshot left. doing a Bob to freeze. So I can't currently activate the dude yet. So maybe I just proc this. Use the triangulate and put it onto an eruption. And then use this. So I've got 9 eruptions in my deck at the moment. I have a ceaseless and a hydration station in that pool. So 9 eruptions will deal an extra 18, plus I've got another 39, so I have enough damage at the moment as long as I draw into some eruptions. But I can't play any more starships down either, because this will make a full board.
Clock's ticking.
I have seen creation, and I will bring destruction.
And smell the flowers.
I think I've just got to go for it, to be honest.
I have seen creation, and I will bring destruction.
It's not lethal. The problem is the 2/1s are summoning fast. Wait, it is lethal. Why didn't it show up as killing them? See, you can even misplay with this deck and win. Do a serious misplay and win with this deck. It's so busted. But that does show why Warrior's not that strong in this, because, like, even though they did get, but with that being said, my starships were a lot better than theirs, but the game plan of theirs doesn't really work, because of the fact that Triangulate's a lot stronger of a combo than, Triangulate's a lot stronger of a combo than the Fizzle plus the copy card. I just keeps SCV here. I've got the hero. So turn 1, turn 2 probably. But the problem is that yeah, it's turn 1, turn 2, but the problem is that I don't have any of my starship stuff. Aside from this one. Pop-up book's decent in this matchup. I'm gonna hold it until a turn where they're gonna use their where they'll want to be using their hero power. This might be the turn 2 play if they don't end up doing anything. Is it possibly a Dungar? It's possibly a Dungar. So, if it is Dungar, I think I still should be fine with these. But the problem is that I'm not dealing very much aggressive damage. Yep, GG. Go face, hope for the best. They'll be going up to 6. They're going to do their crystal cluster, I guess. Innovate plus crystal cluster. They go up to 7. If they have another innovate, that's a bit of a problem. If they don't, I can deal with whatever minion they send out. Actually, I can't deal with any minion. They're just setting up for their Dunga for next turn, more than likely. Okay. The unfortunate thing is I still don't have a starship piece, which does make this a bit of a difficult situation. Missile pod's decent, because I can use lock on plus missile pod to clear. I'll just play down this missile pod here and then just go face with the rest. The health totem isn't doing anything for me. Okay, so I'm probably going to be hexing this. The Yogg's fine, like I don't really care about them having Yogg with this board. Come on, you can do the Doom or whatever. Get one of the AoE, clear the whole board. Wait, what was that? Summon a copy of an enemy minion. If you have 20 or less health, destroy the original. Okay. So I don't want to play my defense crystal this turn, obviously. I'm just gonna hex the splitting space rock, get it out of the way. I guess I just go for the liftoff. It gets me another piece. If they take control of it, well, it is what it is, but I'll put this into my pool as well. They're not threatening too much damage at the moment. Like, the Yogg isn't really doing anything. And next turn, if I need to, I can lock on plus missile pod it. If they've got the Titan, I'd probably kill the other Titan. I don't really want to kill that just yet. Okay. So, lock on the Yogg. Use missile pod. Play the defense crystal, so I'm a little bit safer. And I'll pop this, and I think I'll use the pop-up book onto the 3-2, so it means that I'm a little bit more defensive as well. And I'm just going to chill, because I want the defense crystal to go onto this pool before I do anything else. Nothing strong against Shaman. No, Dungar Druid is okay, but if they get their Dungar and it's quite poor, like that Yogg was useless for them. It means that they're in a pretty tricky situation. They want to get the 8 damage, the one with the elusive Star Forge or whatever it's called. I think I just hold here. They can't really deal any damage at the moment through this. And I want to use the defense crystal to be able to go into this pool. Dungar Druid is still really strong though, like I wouldn't... It doesn't get really many upgrades or anything, but it still is really quite powerful. Okay, swipe clears. I could use my Gym Rainer this turn. It clears all this stuff. And it would have me have 2 of these out. But the problem is, where do I go from after that? I'm gonna have to clear this, like I can't just leave it up. So let's launch the starship and see what happens first. I'm hoping for the 5 to hit this. It didn't. I think I've still got to use the Gym Rainer here. Because it clears all this stuff, it gets me an extra set of armor. That is really scary though. Yep, Stargazer's a bit scary, but they can't currently trade into it without trading both. They could potentially use their twin blades. Ugh. What's that? 27 damage. GG. I don't have it. I don't have it. I got defeated by the Dungar. Okay, playing against a Hunter. I hope this isn't the Trample Hunter. Okay, keep these 2. Gold Pan is good as well, so an SCV is a great start too, so it's a pretty good curve I've got here. Next turn's more than likely going to be Starport, but if they play Sneaky Snakes, I'm going to have to do the Missile Pod. I played a little bit of it, but I just felt like it kept getting pretty terrible, terrible curves. Double tracking. Yep, so it's going to be Starport, I think. I could always just play down the Gold Panna so it lets me draw an extra card. But the Starport means I get it online earlier. Wow. That's so useful. Okay, they got a Sneaky Snakes and a Spawning Pool. I'm just going to use the Missile Pod to clear that, I'd say. Or I could use a Gold Panna. Gold Panna will clear it too. Yeah, let's just get the Gold Panna out so I can draw some cards. Because they'll obviously trade into this. Like, I don't see them not doing that. They've forged, so they potentially have alien encounters next turn. I'll use the Starship proc first. Okay. Use the Fairy Tale Forest. Incendious is decent here, so like I could go on Incendious next turn because I probably won't be doing too much. And I'll use the pop-up book now just to get it out of my hand. Because it also means that they more than likely won't have any way to really deal with it. Like, they're using the spawning pool, but they'll just do a bunch of trades. I could just use Missile Pod to clear this as well. Freezing Trap, you know you want to, so I can get rid of this thing. I can play Incendious pretty freely this turn. Is that correct? I think it might be to get it just set up. Because it will deal some passive damage, so I'll go face first. Freezing Trap. Yeah, let's play the Incendious, see how this goes. Next turn I can use the Titan if I need to. If they are getting the Hydralisk, it's not too much of an issue for me. Because some of the damage can be absorbed by the Incendious. Okay. So use this proc first. Shadow Block's decent. But it would just get this rubbish. This clears their 1/1s. So let's use the Cutlet first and see what I draw into. I got an Eruption, so it clears it anyway. And Pop-Up Book. This can go face. What's the likelihood it's a Rat Trap? So I've just used one card so far. Play down the Missile Pod. And I think I just chill now. Okay. So this can go face, this can go face. I can send the Thunderer out, it can clear the board. Or I can do Liftoff. But it's possible that's an Ice Trap. I think I just played with the Thunderer and then I can do Liftoff after. It is an Ice Trap. I'll use the Roaring Oceans to clear this board and then it leaves them with 10 health. I'm saving the Pop-Up Book because I don't really want them to be able to combo me down easily. Got 3 damage on board.
Lush wilds and clear skies. This could be our home.
We'll play the Cutler down. Is that lethal? No. Use the Liftoff here. Lock-on's fine. I can use the lock-on to be able to trade into the 5/2. Got so much junk on this board. Or I can use this now and just get the Lightning Storm. And just go face with these. So they've played down both their Zerglings. They've got all their dudes out of their hand. So they very possibly could just use the trample here. Yeah. Problem was I couldn't use the starship, so it, you know, it meant that this game wasn't going well for me. Because if I used the starship, I would have just got destroyed. Okay, playing against another Shaman, so we're gonna have a nice long infinite Shaman game, I'm sure. Don't really want to keep Fairy Tale Forest. I find that I'm considering cutting it down to 1 or none, because I don't really like it. But it does let you draw the extra card, so I guess it is somewhat important in this match. Because I'm looking for getting the Fizzle combo online earlier. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Hope I don't get a bunch of those stupid medvacs again. It's always turn 2 liftoff. Ugh. Go face. Not really punished there, like it isn't great that that happened, but it's not really any different to what I'd do otherwise. I think it's going to be SCV and Missile Pod here. I can trade into this. And then if they want to trade again, I can trade these two into that. At least with them being this variant, it's not the Marines are a little bit better. Just trade into that. Yeah, so play the Defense Crystal, trade into that. If they want to play down their backstage bouncer, they'll need to either have another 1-drop or they'll get rid of this. Okay, so if I trade into here, the hero power goes off, and then I can use the pop-up book to clear. Yep, so trade into there. Launch the starship, it gets the dudes online and also AoEs the board. Pop-up book onto here. And then I guess let's get a Fairy Tale Forest out of my hand. So if they use the AoE, it's only clearing those two at the moment. It won't be able to clear the other bits that are over here. Next turn I can probably just play the Incendius down. Liftoff probably gets a lock on. Maybe that's the better play. It whiffed. That's fine. So I can trade these two in. It still leaves this guy alive. And I can play down the starport and get the proc off, so it means I can get another starship getting ready. They might play Shutter Block down this turn, so they can get the board of 8/8s. So I'm going to have to be really careful around that. So I need to get this online for next turn then to be able to use this Raven, if possible. So it's going to be trade, then trade. So use this first. Trade, then trade. So it gets this in the pool first. I need to play the missile pod down this turn as well. Just so it's ready and on the board. So I'll go missile pod first, then I'll play Shutter Block, so it prepares me for next turn if I really do need to use the Jim Raynor. But it also prepares for an Incendious play if I need. They're gonna get the board of 8/8s now. So basically I need this to hit poisonous. If it doesn't, I basically lose. Is there a safer way that I can go about this? Probably not. Like, Jim Raynor can get a bunch of 2/2s, but they die if he has a lightning storm. Yeah, so it's probably just best just trying to go for this way. This could get me some lock-ons. Okay, so I can change one down. I can do a Hex as well. No, I can't, because I'd run out of mana if I did that. Okay, so let's activate the Starship now. It didn't kill anything, really. Use the pop-up book on this. And I guess I'll play the Shutter Block down just so it's ready to go, because I'm probably going to need to use the Jim Raynor next turn. If they do a bunch of trades as well, it potentially could get my Ceaseless Expanse online. This does clear most of the board if they use that. At least I've got enough armor at the moment to survive. Okay. So they're just sending all the damage face. I can clear most of the stuff if I use a Lightning Storm. Jim Raynor clears everything, I think. No, it won't clear everything, but it can clear a lot of the board. This is dealing 8, so 8 plus 9 is 18. That's not lethal there. So I think it's just doing some trading. So can I do it without the Gem Raynor? So if I trade here, it puts it to 5. It's 1 into the pool like a Lightning Storm. It's going to be too slow now though. So let's just go here, here, and here. Then play the Gym Rainer. Okay, got the lethal. Good. Got the lethal on their board. Can Ceaseless Expanse in a future turn if I need to. I've also got a Thrall's Gift. So I should be relatively safe going into the next turn. Because I'm not sure, I don't think they run Ceaseless Expanse in their deck. Probably a pop-up book. Lock on. Pop-up book. This is still lethal, isn't it? Because you can go Lightning Storm and then do this. Yeah. GG. Okay, so I'm playing against a rogue. More than likely a weapon rogue. So I'll keep the defense crystal. So I'll go SCV, Totem, and hopefully the defense crystal can be activated somewhat early as well. Okay, yep, so SCV first. See what they end up playing. They'll probably end up playing, and they'll probably end up, like, they probably are playing Weapon Rogue, because I don't know if there's any other, like, I don't know if the other Rogue decks are any good. Lay down my Totem here. It gets me a little bit of extra health just in case. And it also obviously draws an extra card for me. If they play the 3 drop down, I can use Lock On plus Missile Pod onto it. That's probably the only time I'm ever going to be able to use that combo of cards. Okay. They're not doing anything this turn, so it's just going to be a lift-off play. That's okay. I feel like it probably is Weapon Rogue, so this probably is one of the better ones to be having. Okay. So they're backstabbing my 0-2, going face, so they don't really have any sort of play at the moment. I think I just play down the Cutler. Like, it would be nice playing down the Defense Crystal, but the Cutler means that I can get another Taunt onto the board, and it potentially may force them into using a Deafen onto it. Because I'm trying to get it so my Defense Crystal's relatively safe. And I just used the lock-on on here because they still don't have a 3-1 and I have another lock-on on my hand. There's no point having two. Especially in this matchup. Okay, I think I could just get this so I can have the board, the 3-1s onto the board. I can trade like that. It's a little bit wonky though, so I might just play the Defense Crystal down first. I will trade like that though, just so I can get this guaranteed if I need it. Because if they deafen this, I'm gonna need these to come out as the taunts. The next turn potentially just might be a shutter block, because if I get a wall of taunts, it should be too much for them since they've already used one of their Valera's gifts. Okay, so they get their... They'll probably have their weapon now. Yeah. There's not much you can do about a weapon rogue if you're not drawing well enough with it. If you have to use sharp shipment without having your weapon ready, you're gonna be in trouble.
None can escape my fury.
For Doomhammer.
Okay, playing against another rogue, it's probably a similar sort of game plan. CV, Cutlass, and then Crystal on 3. If this gets me a 1-cost spell as well, it's relatively decent, because then I can just use coin to be able to get a taunt with it. Yep, so they got the weapon, I'm assuming. Play SCV. I'll use the cutter now. Lift off I obviously can't use, but I could use it next turn if I need to. This also means that I can take out the weapon with these two dudes on the board. I take out the weapon dude. What's the odds they have a deafen? Probably quite likely. I still think I've got to go for that. And I'll keep the 3-3 on the board just in case I need to trade with something else. Yeah, because if I trade here, it means that I can keep the 3-3 in case I need to trade one of my other battleships into it. I'm probably just gonna go lock on and lift off this turn, and then I can just do a trade with that. Lift off gets another minion into the pool. Yeah, lock on here, trade the 1-3, and then go face with the 2. Problem is I don't have a way to get this into the pool. But I still do have a decent amount of armor, like I'm still sitting on a relatively decent health total at the moment. Especially since I have got this set up. Twelve damage is a little bit scary to be going towards me. Because if they have a deafen next turn, that can clear. I don't have any way to gain health at the moment, so I think I'm just going to have to go for the lift-off play. I need to find some sort of way to be able to clear these dudes. Play the SCV. It allows this to come out for free then. If they've got deafen, they win. I don't think I could have really done anything different that game. Like, I could have maybe just kept the weapon dude alive to maybe try and trade in the 2-1. But I don't know if there's anything else really I could have done. I think it's just get rid of these two. Maybe keep the missile pod just in case. I need it for turn 2. Because if they have the groovy cat and such, I can use this to trade. I think I might play down the totem here, because with the totem, it's letting me draw an extra card, and they're not really threatening it at the moment with any of their cards available to them. And if it is Dungar, well, I get to draw an extra card against it. New Heights is decent. So I've got lock on. They are using the hero power version, so they potentially could get their giant online this turn. I think it's always just lift off here though, because it allows me to get a piece onto the board. This I think is okay in this matchup, but it's always the worst one. Okay, so they're making their hero power free, so it's quite possible that they're going to have the dude this turn, next turn. So let's go for the starport and see what I get from the starport. Got a 1/5/1, which is decent. I think I just play down the 2 SCVs just to get them out of my hand, but it also means that I can get the starship online when I need it now. Because like, I've also got the lock on and pop up combo to be able to take out a minion that could potentially be scary for me. I think it's always just lift off this turn. We'll drop the missile pod as well, because it means it can go into the pool for next turn if I need it to. This will be quite strong for next turn too. Because I can go this plus lock on and I can then summon this. Okay, another spread the ward, so they still don't have their hero just yet.
Nature speaks through my tunes.
So I'm going to use the starship piece, obviously. And then I'll just play down the defense crystal. Let's make it so they can't just trade really easily. And it means that it forces them into having to have the big dude. And I'll use a gold panner here as well. Gets me to draw an extra card, and if I really need to, I can use Jim Raynor coming up relatively soon.
Who could put a price on such powerful artifacts? I could.
They're currently not really sitting in too scary of a position because with my board, the Grifter doesn't really do anything to it. Like, I guess they could take the crystal for a turn, or they can take my Medivac if they really want to. But there isn't too much they'll be able to generate from the Discover that will be useful. Maybe draw 3 cards.
Time waits for no one.
Okay, so that summons a bunch of two of the taunt dudes. So I can just trade that. It gets the pool ready for it. Trade here. I don't even need to play the Thunderer down. This clears it anyway, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't clear the 5-drop. I can lock on and then I can use it. It clears guaranteed. And then I play down the Incendious. Wait. Yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't. The one problem that I did get from that is one of my 5 damages went into that, so it is a little bit wasted. And having 2 Medivacs in this pool means I can't really use the Jim Raynor very well. But I'm sitting in a relatively decent position. They still haven't used any of their heroes or the chrono boosts.
Time waits for no one.
What? I don't really understand what they were doing there.
I concede.
They didn't draw very well that game. Because, like, they had the 2 spread the wards, but they didn't draw into any of their Protoss stuff, so it meant that they obviously didn't draw any of the other stuff that would be useful for them. They potentially had 2 pylons in their hand, which is a very dead card if you don't have any Protoss cards to use.
Thrall versus Lorthamar. We meet again,
Okay, so I'm playing against a Hunter. Quite likely they're running a Trample Hunter. Because I think that Zerg Hunter isn't being used as much since Infinite Shaman's been used a lot more. I go SCV and lift off. I get rid of the lock-on. Missile Pod's decent as well, because if they're playing the Zerglings, I can use that to clear Zerglings. And then the Starport is better if they don't have anything on the board. Okay, Spawning Pool, looks like they're not doing anything. They potentially may be doing the buff game plan with this one as well. I'll play the Starport and just tap it. This is a good one to have first because it allows the Missile Pod buff to go onto it. I think I always just trade the SCV in first. It's very likely Ice Trap. I think I just play around the Ice Trap from it.
These could belong to a brand new species.
Next turn I'm going to do Pop-Up Book first because I really do think it's going to be Ice Trap, and then I can do Lift Off. I'll tap the Starport first, then I'll use Pop-Up Book, then I'll use Lift Off more than likely.
Not much time left.
Okay. So still tap the Starport. It might be better just getting the Defense Crystal online, but I don't really want to leave that alive either, so I'll use the Pop-Up Book, see if it hits. It's not an Ice Trap. Could it be a bait and switch? I'll use the Lift Off to get some stuff out of the pool, and I'm just go face. There's no point trading, because if I trade and it is a Lift Off, it is a problem for me. I mean, if it is a bait and switch, it is a problem for me. Okay, so they're getting their Niall down. They've got the Parrot Sanctuary, so they could, if they want to, get more Zerglings. But it's not really very useful for them because I can just clear using Missile Pod. Okay. So I might just trade one of these in. It more than likely is the bait and switch. No, it's a Rat Trap. Okay. Trade the other one in. Then I can do Lift Off and the Missile Pod. Clears the board and then I can go face. I think the Rat Trap potentially was the wrong choice for them though. So this is pretty much guaranteed to have Poisonous in it now.
I am watching closely.
I probably will play the defense crystal down next turn. It gets me ready for going into the late game against them. Everyone's favorite card's about to be played. I could just do this, Thunderer plus Lock On. Or I can do Lock On plus Defense Crystal. I think it's Lock On plus Defense Crystal. Get this into the pool, play the Defense Crystal down, and I guess I'll play the SC... Well, I don't want to pop the Rat Trap, there's no point in popping it right now. Let it chill another turn.
Here I come, ready or not.
Okay, so this turn I think I just set this up. There's no real point not. Yeah, it'll guarantee take these out. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it has poisonous. Pretty sure it has everything. It should have everything. And then I think I just play the Incendious down. But if I do, what's the odds they have mind control tech? I don't think it's very likely they have mind control tech. I don't think this deck runs it at all. If they do, I can just use the Gem Marina to clear it back. I think they'll be concede very shortly. So, if I just play Gem Rainer down, I think it just is guaranteed lethal on board. Because I only have the one Starship, don't I? Okay. I could just... If I play this down, is that guaranteed as well? So, AoE's the board. This deals 24. They'll have 23 health. So AoE, 2 goes here, 2 goes here. Yeah. I don't need to put it up to chance at Gem Rainer. I'm pretty sure it would just summon all the things, but just in case.
Thrall versus Hamul. For Doomhammer.
Okay, so I'm playing against a Druid. Get rid of Lock On. Get rid of the Forest, get rid of this. I can do turn 2 Starport if I need to. If I don't have any other curve. So it's probably going to be turn 1, turn 2. Depending on if they play a minion or not. Yeah, turn 1. It gets me an extra card draw by doing this, and they'll be a little bit slower going into the game too. I might end up doing a second gold panel. Not now because they got that. I'll trade. Defense crystal's decent, so I'll just go starport here. Get the dude online. This is the first time I've seen the Viking one in a while. Okay, Void Ray. I got another starport. Is that good enough? I think that is probably just the play here. I don't really have too much happening in this hand. And I might do the lock on now, just so it's ready for that. I feel like it also forces them potentially into a trade if they want to go with it in that way as well. Is this carrier Druid? Use this starport. I think I play down the defense crystal here, just trade into here, let the 5/3 live. Swipe clears both of these dudes, but I can reactivate it this turn if I need to. They are threatening quite a lot of damage, especially if they get the carrier online. Because next turn they can get the carrier online if they have it in their hand. So I'll just check what this thing is first. It's another Raven. So at the moment I don't have any sort of way to be able to deal with a wide board if they do go for it, like if they go for the carrier play. So I'll do liftoff first. Missile pod will be good to be able to AoE it if I need to, so I'll just get the missile pod online, and it means that the divine shield goes here, but they also shouldn't be able to clear it. Like unless they get really lucky, I should have the play into them. So that puts me down to 13. They'd need to have all 4 hit face to get lethal this turn. Now I can activate this, and it should end up getting me a lifesteal. So it gets me a little bit more health back. Does it have Rush? Oh, there's no minions alive. I guess I just play down the gold panner and chill now. And then I just have lethal on board. That feels bad. Like, you know, it didn't really feel very fair for the entire thing. Like, what they summoned a really expensive minion, and then it just got killed in one turn with me then establishing an even bigger minion. And they did have everything on curve, really, so it wasn't really an issue with that. Okay, so playing against another Druid. Ditch the Fairy Tale Forest, keep the gold panel, I think. Liftoff's always a keep, so you don't need to be thinking about if you're keeping that or not. I don't have a turn 1 play, which is a little bit unfortunate. It's possible they could be a Dungar Druid. One mistake that I made yesterday was I had a bunch of I played a bunch of dudes down against a Dungar Druid. I board locked myself and I kept overdrawing all my cards because I had like 3 of these two of these and the totem out, and it just, yeah, there was too much going on for it. I'll use the liftoff here because I don't really mind if they trade, like it doesn't really concern me too much. It also means that I'm getting more set up. Because liftoff is in general going to be the better card too. They have the hero. Okay. So I think it's going to be lock on to trade into this. If I want to, I can do a CV and pop-up book. It then gets this alive. It's then a 50-50. Or I can just do pop-up book onto here. And then just get the starport online. Or liftoff can probably get me a lock-on for next turn. It could also get me missile pod. I think it's liftoff here. So they are threatening a little bit of damage, but it's not too much of a concern for me. Because I'm probably going to have to just play the defense crystal down this turn. So trade that. I could do pop-up book and clear it, but this isn't really threatening any... This doesn't really have any defense to it. So it's probably just going to be defense crystal plus the other pop-up book. Just so I have a bit of a wall to be able to deal with them, and then I can set up this for the following turn. If I need it. That's a little bit painful. Okay. So I pretty much need to get this online so it clears that. I'll use this first just to check what I end up getting from it. A lock-on's decent because then I can use lock-on. It gets this to have a taunt then. And then I can play down more stuff onto the board too. It means that if they don't end up clearing this, I can survive into going into next turn. So, because they need to have a charge minion plus a way to deal with that. And if they don't, it means that my defense crystal comes back online.
The future is ours. Our path is clear.
All right, Weepy, after me!
GG. I don't think there was really too many different plays I could have done there. Like, I could have potentially not gone so hard into the defense crystal, But the dormant, making the defense crystal dormant was always going to be a relatively strong play for them. I could have potentially gone for the 2-drop, but they only did have a few cards in their hand, so I wasn't really playing around it.
Thrall versus Morgul. For Doomhammer.
Okay, so with this start, it's just full mulligan everything. I don't need any of these. Shuttle block's decent, but I'm going first, so I need to make sure that I'm getting some sort of start, some sort of curve. Okay. Turn 2 is going to be Gold Panner. Turn 3 will be Liftoff. Turn 4 will be Defense Crystal, more than likely.
In the rear with the gear. I smell gold in their waters. Keep on panning.
Pop-up book, I'm assuming? Yep. So, I got another SCV. That means that their Starship's only going to cost 1 now. They are posing quite a lot of... Like, they're posing too much damage to be able to deal with putting one of these on there. So, next turn I'll probably do Missile Pod. Potentially, because I don't really want them to be able to use a, I don't really want them to go very effectively into this. The problem is that if they have a backstage bouncer, it still then is still better to get the missile pod online. So I'll do missile pod. Oops. Don't know what just happened then. Missile pod and clear. I feel like that's happened quite a lot. You hover a card and it just goes with the wrong one. Okay, so they got their Turbolus down. I don't think I mind too much about that. Because if I need to, I can just use Thrall's Gift to clear their whole board. Which is probably going to end up being the play. I could play down the Defense Crystal. But... Thrall's Gift probably is better. Yeah, I'll use the Thrall's Gift. It gets me a Lightning Storm so I can clear all this stuff here. And then I just go face and I play an SCV down. So they'll potentially play down their Delicious Cheese this turn. The turn 8 play is going to be really scary though, so I need to start building up towards that. So if they have Shuttle Block, it's not too big a concern. It is a big concern because they'll be able to get the Murlocs off next turn. Okay. So I think I need to get the Defense Crystal online. Then I can put down the SCV so it makes the Starship even cheaper and just trade into this. If they have Hex, they can obviously get rid of the defense crystal that way, but if they don't, and they play down the shutter block, which I'm assuming they're going to, it means that they will be doing the Murloc turn the following turn, which is what I really need to play around. I will know by the end of this turn if that is going to be their play. No. So they still do have a... They still can use the shutter block here to be able to clear. Like, so they still can play the 8/8s down. They can get 2 8/8s down. Okay, they're using Trusty Companion onto their 2/1. I don't really mind too much about that. But the problem is that's going to become a 1-drop when they use it. Okay, I've got Triangulate. Doesn't really matter at the moment for it. I think I go Pop-Up Book here into the 1/3. I can then trade into it. I don't really want to use my thing just yet because it's pretty useless otherwise, and then I'll just use this. It obviously was better not trading first and doing it into a different one, but I did make that mistake and that's fine. I need to get some more cards into my hand because at the moment my hand is a little bit dead. And using this, using the Battle Cruiser last time wasn't really very effective either. It's only got the Defense Crystal and then some taunts in it. Okay, a lock-on's really good here. So I can use a lock-on onto that. Then I can activate this for it as well to be able to AoE some stuff. This gets an extra 2 into the pool. So if I go this and then Jim Raynor, I can clear the board, then have a big board against them. I think that's going to be the play because I don't think they'll have a way to deal with it once I do that. So send these into here. Play this down and launch it. Or do I go... Or is it better just being a little bit safer? Because Jim Raynor clears the whole board. They've only got 4 cards in their hand. I think this is probably still the better play because it clears everything, and then I've got a big board of 6, all 6 guys on the field. I don't really know of a particular punish they could do. Possibly hexing? Lock on. Okay. Missile Pod clears most of my stuff. But I will have access to Ceaseless relatively soon as well. So play the Starport down first, I guess. This isn't guaranteed to get the Infinite, but I don't know if I really mind about that. So I will go for the Fizzle, I will go for it. Okay, and then we'll just trade here. I can use Ceaseless next turn. Which should probably be enough to be able to deal with them. Okay. So just doing 2 trades. And then backstage bouncer, I'm assuming. No point trading into any of these, I don't think, for me. I just use Ceaseless Expanse onto it. To the board. Okay. Lay the starport down so the Ceaseless Expanse is free. Oh, I shouldn't have used that yet. Whatever. Doesn't matter too much. Use the Ceaseless Expanse. And I can probably just hold for a turn for the Triangulate. I don't really need to grab another one out at the moment. Then we can just chill.
Who could put a price on such powerful artifacts? I could.
If they have take control of an enemy minion, they can still take my Ceaseless Expanse. I'm assuming that's lock on. And they launch the starship against me. Okay. So play down the Ceaseless Expanse against them. I guess I use the Triangulate now. Get the Fizzle again. Grab the Snapshot. Use the lock on again. Let's use the Fairy Tale Forest here. It could potentially get me Incendious ready. Okay. And then we'll use this just to get some, a taunt on the board.
Let's make it count.
Okay. So 5's going face. I don't have a way to... Do I have a way to clear without doing this? No. So let's just triangulate again. Make sure that I get the pop-up, the fizzle shot. And I guess I just Ceaseless Expanse here. Just clear it all again. Get out a new starport. I think it might be time to launch it. I'll use the Cutler first and see what I get, but I think it's time to launch it. And then we'll put the... we'll get the taunt buff.
Sounds like a plan. All right, I'm out.
GG. Okay. Who's our next opponent? I think so. Going into this game, it's against a Warlock. I think I just go for... I want to keep the missile pods so I can get poisonous online. I think I get rid of these two. I can go turn 1, turn 2 if I need to. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, possibly. Liftoff would be a nice draw, obviously, too. This will probably be my last game. Probably finish up after this. So coin into Starport, and I'll use the Starport and get the proc off. But if you are enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so just try, like, at the moment they're not really applying any pressure, so I'll probably use a spawning pool maybe. They could use the worm. The thing is, if they end up getting the giants on the board, that's where I need to be watching out for. Okay. They got the cavern online, so it's possible they may end up getting the worm relatively soon. Use liftoff. Got the last one. That's a decent one. Let's go face now. The problem is I am looking for the Raven. That's the one that I need for this particular matchup. They got another cavern. I got a Thrall's Gift. That's not really very useful at the moment. Defense Crystal's probably the best card here. Just because they don't have an easy way to take it out. But if they trade into it, I mean, it means I can get into the pool. Liftoff would have been decent that turn as well, because it potentially could have got me the lock-ons I need to be able to deal with them. Okay, so they're using the cavern. That will be consumed for sure. And then maybe Forge of Wills? I'm just trading. They got another giant. Okay, so they got 2 giants on board. I think it's just liftoff here. I got a lock on, which will be good. So maybe I just go lock on onto this one, and then hit a pop-up book onto it. It reduces the possible damage output. Like this will obviously clear into it, but it reduces the damage output made by them. So with this, I'm dealing 5 and getting the taunt on the board. So I'm gonna 6/6 demon. I'm not really too scared of that. Don't have triangulate yet. So this is dealing 5 damage to the board. Does this deck still run mind control tech? Because that's a way that I could lose this. Go the missile pod. It gets that down 1 more. And then launch the starship, I guess. Or I could go the SCV first, launch the starship, then play down the totem. I don't have any liftoffs left. I probably am looking for triangulate relatively soon so I can get the infinite going, but I need one of my minions to be able to do it. I'm not too concerned about the Nidus Worm because it's still one turn off. Like, they could potentially have a consume so they can do a trade, but not too worrying for me. Okay. I might just launch this starship because it means that it deals with this. Yeah, I think I launch it just to get rid of that out of the way because I don't really want to take more damage than what I need to. And I'll just use the gold panner here. Down to 13 cards, so I still need to draw one of my win conditions to be able to get the fizzle ready. Jim Rain is probably going to be the win condition this game. Maybe Incendious, that's fine as well on this. Okay, 2/6. So that would be the 4-drop. Next turn's probably just going to be Defense Crystal plus Cutter. Use the Cutter first. Okay, Triangulate's decent. This can get me out one of my win conditions, possibly. This board isn't really threatening me at all. So I think I just use the Fairy Tale Forest here. Incendious is decent. Just hero power and chill, I think.
Keep on panning.
If they use Wheel, that is a little bit threatening to me, but that's the reason why Incendious is possibly one of the win conditions for me. Okay. That's a lot of damage. So play down the Titan, and I can use this to get a Hex onto one of them, so I'll Hex this guy over here. And then I'll use the Titan to deal 20 to this one. Then just trade. There's not really much point trading into this too much, but I will do it just so in case they try to use the rush version. They try to get a rush with it. And I'll just use this and it'll let me draw a card. Gem Rainer's good, so I can go Fizzle, Triangulate, and set up the Gem Rainer. 12-18. Okay. So AoE the board. Trade. Trade? It means Ceaseless is free then? Do I want to get anything else out of my hand before I do the Ceaseless? I probably want to get this out. Then I could play... I can play the Totem out. Use the Fizzle. Triangulate. Gets me all this Ceaseless Expanse stuff back. Then use the Ceaseless Expanse and get the extra snapshot. And then I'll just use this just to get the Shuttle Block out of the deck. And then if I need to, I can do the Incendious play. I've got 2 defense crystals if I need to as well. So I could go, if I need to get a bunch of armor, I can just go defense crystal, Ceaseless. How much is this dealing at the moment? It's dealing 2, 4, 6. 6 damage AoE. Okay. So I think it's just going to be play down the 2 defense crystals and Ceaseless. But then again, this does gain an extra 7 armor doing it that way as well. Let's get the Cutlass Cutter, I'll just overdraw that on purpose. 2 defense crystals puts me up a decent amount of health as well, and I can have the Ceaseless on the board too. If I could just go the Ceaseless to have it onto the board, and then I can do the Jim Raynor to have it as well. It deals a little bit of extra damage, but it's also giving me a little bit of a board to deal with them too. And I'll just use the buff as well, just to get extra stuff onto the board. I'll need to do a table flip to be able to do very much with this. I don't really mind them using that, like it doesn't really concern me.
Fresh out of cards.
That does though. Because that gets rid of all my snapshots. I still should be able to deal lethal like this. As long as they don't have any sort of clear. I can just go on Incendious plus Triangulate, it gets all the things out of my deck. Does that not deal lethal?
Fresh out of cards.
Oh, because it's shuffling afterwards.
I'm done here.
Whatever. GG. Jim Rayner would have been the better play then if that's the case. They got rid of all my fizzles, all my snapshots. Which you still can't deal with the amount of value that comes out of these things. The targeted search is what the big issue is with the triangulate. Okay, so playing against a Druid. It's going to be Hero Druid more than likely. I'll just keep the gold panel. Maybe the cutter. I think I'll keep the cutter as well, just to get me a little bit of extra draw if I need it. All 2 drops. Okay, Actor's Construct. So I'll just play down the gold panel here, just so he has to trade into it if he wants. If he doesn't trade into it, I can just use the starport. Okay, Chrono Boost. So I think it's just starport this turn. Get the starport online, so it means that I have a minion to be able to deal with them. Next turn's probably another starport, then the next turn after that's the crystal. Gold Panna sets them up for their next for their hero turn if they got the hero out of that chrono boost. Just get the next starport online. No. So that's the hero there, so they will have the hero next turn. So it's always just play this. Ugh. Trade here, I guess, and then play the defense crystal down. I guess getting a bunch of taunts is somewhat decent against their hero turn. We're gonna build a wall. Okay, launch. They can trade relatively decently into it, but having a bunch of taunts out should be a bit too much for them. That's mind control tech. Hmm. Okay, so they can trade easily into that. They can trade into that one. AoE plus 2 clears. So lift off here. And then I just go the 3 damage AoE to the board, and then I trade these 2 in. He does get a little bit of armor like that, but they're sitting in a pretty poor position now that I've got the Titan out on the board as well. I've also got lock on a missile pod to be able to clear a minion of theirs if I need to. I think I'm fine with them having the Divine Shield on that. I don't think I even trade into it. But if I don't, they can obviously get some more value coming from the fact that they'll have a minion on the board. I could Hex it. That might be even better. Yeah, I'll go for the Hex play onto it. It means that they won't be able to access. They'll be only accessible to one less damage, one less armor this turn, this game. Do I really mind if they take my Titan? Not really. So I'll play down both totems to get some extra armor gain up as well, and I'll just use the Overload one just to get it out. So they've used a lot of their charge minions. They still have the, they still probably have Leroy. So I do need to be careful with my health total still. Okay, so they're clearing, they're clearing my totems, which means I don't get any more armor and then going face. Pop-up book's quite good because they've used one of their swipes, so it's possible they might not have another swipe as well. So I'll go the Cutler here. Gets me a lock on. It's not very helpful, I don't think. Unless I'll go for the Liftoff. Jim Raynor's come out, so I can use that next turn. So if I go lock on here, it gets this as having a taunt. I can use the Missile Pod. It does the damage there. This is a 50-50 to get a pop-up book. It will either get pop-up book or triangulate. So I think I just go for that. And then just hit the pop-up book onto here, and then I can just use the 20 damage here, because it means that the Titan, like, I have the Titan ready and accessible if I need to in future turns as well. They shouldn't have a way to be able to clear these two taunts, so I should be defended enough going into my turn to be able to play the Jim Raynor. The problem is if they don't clear anything, like I can't play it down very easily, but if they, yeah, it's not really too much of an issue for me. Mind Control Tech's fine though. I think that ends up having like a rush when you do with it, like it's a bit silly with how the Titan interacts. So they've used both Mind Control Techs now, so that means this Jim Raynor's free to do how I please with it. So if I trade, I want to trade both of these, so I just trade into whatever. And then I can use Lock On over here. Pop this. Deals damage to the board, obviously. And then I can use the Gym Rainer now, and it gets me a big wide board, plus it gives damage to them. And they should end up conceding from that. Provided they don't have a ceaseless. Like, ceaseless is... they're probably their only way of being able to deal with this. I don't think they'd run a ceaseless in this list.
You have won this day.
If they did have a ceaseless, like, I'd still probably be able to play around it quite easily. Okay, playing against a priest. So more than likely it's the Mothership Priest list. So I think I just try and get a big starship to be able to deal with them. I'll just keep the starport. I don't really want to have the missile pot in my hand. I'm trying to get lift off. Lock-on's decent, going into like their mothership turn or whatever. Play the starport, hopefully get non-medi back. That's a good one. I'm just going to trade into this, because I don't want them to be able to get the extra possible hallucination or whatever onto it. And then I'll just play down the Fairy Tale Forest, since they're not really posing any threat to me right now. It means I can set up for next turn as well to be able to play down obviously this Cutler that's here. Use the Starship, see what I end up getting. Another Raven's decent. So I want that to go onto the pool before I get this to go onto the board. So I'll just use the Cutler here. Triangulate's not useful for me at all at the moment. I'll just play the other Cutler down. Lock-on doesn't really do anything. Is it even decent in this match? I'll just use it for the moment. It gets the taunt onto this minion, but it also reduces down the cost. That's the reason why I did it for that. Chrono boost is fine. They'll trade here. Okay, so they've reduced it down by 2 now, so their mothership's costing 10. Use the Fairy Tale Garden, gets me an extra card. Just gonna trade here. I know it doesn't look right for that, but it means that the buff goes into the pool before this, possibly. Because I don't want them to be able to trade into that, I want that to go in the pool after so I can get the AoE clear. And then I'm using the totem to draw a card. Pendant, they'll probably get their mothership, I'd say. They may get a sentry here so they can play it down in addition to having the... Well, Pip's decent. It means they get the extra Void dudes. Void Ray dudes. I'm just going to go Missile Pod here. It deals with this. I can then trade in here and it comes into my pool. Then trade here and just do the Panna. They probably have another Void Ray in that hand of theirs, so I think I might use the pop-up book here as well, just to make it so it's a little bit more difficult for them to have to deal with. And it maybe allows us to survive an extra turn. Because I'm not really doing too much at the moment, my hand is pretty average. So they can trade and they can take out this dude. I don't think that really matters too much. Take out this. This potentially doesn't clear. I probably still just launch it anyway though. No rush. Okay, played on the SCV, and I think I'm just gonna chill. Okay. They get the battle cry, but they don't get the effects of this Star Cruiser if they use the Puppet Theater on it. I don't know if they know that.
An error. That was a mistake.
Okay, I've got the Triangulate play if I want it. I don't think it's ready yet. I might just do the pop-up books now. I'll get the Shadow Block out as well. If they have Mind Control tech, that is a big misplay though. But I can still kill it.
We are the voice of fire.
How much was that? That was 8, so it's 4 less.
Annihilation.
Void Ray. I need to kill this, because I don't want to give them the 1-1 with the 3 battle cries, because then they get extra things with their mothership. Hallucination. Okay. So I can just go for lock on this. Trade, and then I can just take this. I didn't even need to use the lock on then. Lay down the defense crystal and just chill.
I am out of space.
I guess they can take the defense crystal with the puppet theater, but I'm not really too worried about that. Something I am worried about though is that they get this 8/8 on the board. What? Where'd they get all those hallucinations from? Oh, pendant of the pendant. Wow, okay. Okay. That's cool. GG.
For Doomhammer.
Okay, I think the last time I played against this person, they were playing Weapon Rogue. So, keeping SCV's fine. I think it's fine to full keep this. I'll just get rid of the Cutler. No, if it's the combo rogue. Lay SCV down. Next turn's probably just going to be playing down the totem. It's best just to get the starship pieces and things like that online. I could have gone for coin defense crystal, but this draws me an extra 2 cards out of my deck as well. Okay. So they can trade or they can go face, it doesn't really matter too much to me. That's going to become 4. Oh no, it's a Void Ray, so they're trading. I don't think I really care too much about that, like they are posing a little bit of damage. I think the defense crystal is probably correct here. Because it gets me some more armor back. They're currently not really too threatening, but I can get into the pool. They're probably just going to trade like that, so it leaves one attack on there as well. Oh, 1 health on there, so I can use the missile pod to clear. Okay. That's quite a lot of damage sitting on board. Pop-up book's okay because they don't really have any AoE. So I think I go here, the lift off. Got a lock on, which is decent. So I can do a lock on one of these dudes. So if I go lock on onto like this here, I could use pop-up book, but I think missile pod means that I clear more of this stuff and it gets rid of the divine shield from this. They're still posing 11 damage on board though, but they've only got 1 card. They've only got 3 cards in their hand. Next turn I probably have to launch the starship and I'll have to use Jim Raynor more than likely the following turn. Okay. That's a bit scary. So this potentially can't even clear all this stuff. So I might have to go for the Cutler lock on. Thrall's Gift. If I hex it, yeah, hex. Oh, no, but then with hex I'm still the mana short.
Our destiny awaits.
Yeah, I don't have it.
It is beyond belief. You win this one.
GG. Alright, well, thank you everyone for coming along for the stream today. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and if you are enjoying the content, please like and subscribe, and bye for now.